What in the world is going on in America right now? How did a bold congressman from New York end up clashing head-to-head with Donald Trump in a battle that's shaking the political ground? Is this just another headline-grabbing stunt, or are we witnessing the start of a major shift in American power? Why are millions of people taking sides, and what's really hiding beneath all the noise, tweets, and speeches? Stay right here. Because before this video ends, you're going to see the real reason behind this storm. And it might just change how you see American politics forever. It all started with one moment, one statement that nobody saw coming. Picture this, a regular press conference, cameras flashing, reporters half listening, and then, boom! Mamdani drops a line that instantly sets the political world on fire. Within hours, the clip explodes across social media. Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, it's everywhere. People are arguing, sharing, and shouting. Was he being brave or just reckless? Did he speak truth to power or pick a fight he couldn't win? That's where the storm began, and that's when Donald Trump stepped into the ring. Now, here's the thing about moments like this. They don't just happen by accident. Every word a politician says is carefully chosen, or at least it's supposed to be. But when Mamdani spoke that day, it felt raw. It felt real. It wasn't polished or rehearsed. It was straight from the gut. And that's exactly why it hit so hard. He called out what he saw as the hypocrisy and arrogance of the old political guard. And to him, Trump represented everything wrong with that system. But Trump, being Trump, wasn't about to let that slide. He fired back fast and loud, the way only he can. Within hours, Trump's response had its own life. His followers rallied behind him, cheering every word. Meanwhile, Mamdani's supporters praised him for standing up to the biggest political heavyweight in the country. It was like watching two storms collide in the middle of the ocean, chaotic, powerful, and impossible to look away from. But here's what made it different. Mamdani wasn't a household name, at least not before this moment. Suddenly, he was being talked about on every news channel, debated on every podcast, and analyzed by political experts coast to coast. Some said he was brave, others said he was foolish. But one thing was clear. He had everyone's attention. And when you've got America's attention, you've got power. Trump, on the other hand, knows the game better than anyone. He thrives on controversy. Every insult, every tweet, every bold statement, he turns it into fuel. So when Mamdani challenged him, it wasn't just a clash of words. It was a clash of strategies, of generations, of visions for America. Trump framed it as another attack from the radical left. Mamdani framed it as a fight for truth and justice. And in that tug of war, the entire country got pulled in. You could almost feel the tension building. Late-night hosts joked about it, influencers dissected it, and even people who don't usually care about politics found themselves picking sides. That's how deep this spark reached. It tapped into something bigger than just a political feud. It became a symbol of America's growing divide, of two voices yelling across a canyon that keeps getting wider. And the question everyone's asking now is, was this all part of Mamdani's plan? Did he know that one statement could catapult him into the national spotlight? Or did he just speak from the heart, not realizing he was about to step into the biggest political storm of his life? Stick around, because as we dig deeper, you'll see this wasn't just a spark. It was the match that lit the fuse on something much, much bigger. Two men, two movements, two completely different visions of what America should be. On one side, Donald Trump, the billionaire turned political bulldozer, the man who built his brand on power, pride, and defiance. On the other, Zohran Mamdani, the bold, progressive voice from New York, a man who speaks for the working class, immigrants, and those tired of the system. When these two collided, it wasn't just a disagreement. It was a full-on culture clash, a collision of worlds so intense that everyone watching could feel the tension in the air. Trump stands for the old-school idea of American greatness, strong borders, big business, national pride, and never backing down. His followers see him as the man who speaks truth in a world of lies, a fighter who doesn't care about being polite, just about winning. He talks about taking America back, about restoring what's been lost. And he does it with that signature mix of confidence and chaos that keeps cameras glued to him. Mamdani, on the other hand, represents a new generation, young, diverse, and unapologetically progressive. He talks about justice, equality, housing for all, and breaking down the very structures that people like Trump helped build. To his supporters, he's fearless. To his critics, he's radical. But love him or hate him, you can't ignore him. When he speaks for those who feel left out, unheard, and unseen. Now imagine these two energy forces meeting head-on. Trump's world of a Make America Great Again, slamming into Mamdani's world of a Change America for Good. It's not just politics, it's philosophy, identity, and emotion, all wrapped into one explosive showdown. Every word they exchange carries meaning, every tweet is a bullet, every speech is a battlefield. What's wild is how perfectly they represent the split in America right now. Trump supporters see Mamdani as everything wrong with modern politics. Soft, idealistic, disconnected from a real America. Mamdani's supporters see Trump as the symbol of greed, division, and corruption. And in between, millions of Americans caught in the middle, trying to figure out who's telling the truth. This isn't just a debate between two men. It's a mirror of the nation itself. It's about who we were, who we are, and who we're becoming. Trump is the storm that refuses to fade, always roaring back when people think he's gone. Mamdani is the lightning bolt cutting through the dark clouds, young and unpredictable, trying to light a new path forward. But here's the twist. Both men need this fight. Trump thrives on conflict. It's what keeps him in the headlines. Mamdani, still rising, gains power every time he stands up to someone bigger than him. They feed off the clash. They need each other to define what they stand for. And the media, oh, they love it. Every insult, every viral moment, every soundbite, it all keeps the cameras rolling and the nation talking. The question now is, who wins this war of worlds? Is America still loyal to Trump's vision of strength and dominance? Or is the tide turning toward Mamdani's dream of justice and equality? Stay tuned, because as this story unfolds, it's becoming clear. This isn't just a feud. It's a fight for the soul of America, and it's far from over. Do you ever notice how the media can take one spark and turn it into a wildfire overnight? One headline, one clip, one tweet, and suddenly the whole country's talking. That's exactly what happened with Trump and Mamdani. The moment their words clashed, the media pounced like sharks smelling blood in the water. What started as a small political disagreement exploded into a full-blown media spectacle, broadcast on every screen in America. But the real question is, who's controlling the story? Are we seeing the truth, or just what they want us to see? Within minutes of Mamdani's statement, news outlets jumped on it. They played his clip over and over again, analyzing every word like it was a secret code. Then came Trump's response, bold, fiery, and tailor-made for prime time. Every network wanted a piece of it. Headlines screamed on Mamdani challenges Trump, while others warned her Trump fires back hard. And in the middle of all that noise, viewers didn't just watch, they picked sides. The media knew exactly what they were doing. Controversy sells. Division drives click. Drama keeps people tuned in. On talk shows, pundits turned the feud into entertainment. Late-night hosts made jokes, morning panels debated motives, and YouTube commentators dissected every facial expression. Even people who didn't care about politics suddenly had opinions. That's the power of the media machine. It can turn a political moment into a national obsession faster than you can refresh your feed. But here's where things get interesting. Both Trump and Mamdani use the chaos to their advantage. Trump, a master of media manipulation, knows exactly how to keep his name trending. Every outburst, every jab, it's part of his strategy. He doesn't run from attention, he feeds on it. The louder the media talks, the stronger his base becomes. To his supporters, every attack from the press just proves he's the outsider fighting the system. Mamdani, on the other hand, plays a different game. He thrives on exposure, but not for the fame, for the message. The more the media plays his words, the more people hear his ideas. And while Trump dominates headlines with personality, Mamdani counterpunches with purpose, turning interviews into platforms for change. Still, the line between being heard and being twisted is razor thin. Every soundbite risks being spun into something else. Social media made the fire burn even hotter. On Twitter, hashtags exploded. On TikTok, people made reaction videos. On Instagram, quotes from both sides filled stories and feeds. It was like a digital battlefield. Millions of voices shouting, sharing, arguing. And the media? They sat back and watched the storm they created grow bigger by the hour. What's wild is how quickly truth gets lost in the noise. Everyone's got a version of the story, and somewhere in between, the facts get buried under opinions. But here's what keeps people watching: the uncertainty, the drama, the feeling that at any second, someone might say something that changes everything. That's what makes this storm so addictive. And that's why this battle isn't just political, it's personal. Because when the media gets involved, it's not just about Trump or Mamdani anymore. It's about how we see the world, who we trust, and what kind of story we choose to believe. Stick around, because as this media circus grows, the truth hiding behind the headlines might just shock you. Now here's where things get real interesting, because behind every public clash, every fiery tweet, and every bold speech, there's always a hidden game being played. You think this is just about opinions or values. Oh no, this is about power. It's about who gets to control the narrative, the money, the movement, and the people. When Trump and Mamdani went head-to-head, they weren't just arguing over politics. They were fighting for something much bigger. They were fighting for influence, legacy, and the hearts of millions of Americans who feel caught in the middle of a system that keeps letting them down. Let's be honest, Trump's power isn't just in his words, it's in his following. He has an army of loyal supporters who believe he's the only one brave enough to speak the truth. For him, every feud is fuel. Every controversy boosts his image as the outsider taking on the establishment. When he lashes out, it's not random, it's strategy. He knows exactly what he's doing. Every time his name dominates the headlines, donations rise, rallies fill, and his grip on his base tightens. It's not just politics performance, and Trump's been mastering that act for years. Mamdani, though, plays a different kind of power game. He doesn't have Trump's fame or fortune, but he has something else: momentum. His voice resonates with a generation tired of old promises and broken systems. His movement is built on activism, not applause. Every time he stands up to Trump, he's sending a message to his followers. We're not afraid of power, we're here to challenge it. And that message builds energy. It brings in new supporters, new donors, new believers who see him as the voice of a changing America. But make no mistake, both sides are calculating every move. For Trump, this fight keeps him relevant. For Mamdani, it puts him on the national stage. That's the hidden agenda. Visibility equals power. The more people talk, the more influence grows. And the media? They're the middlemen, cashing in on every headline, every soundbite, every clash that keeps viewers glued to their screens. Behind closed doors, advisors and strategists are working overtime. They're not thinking about what's right or wrong. They're thinking about what works. Every statement is weighed for impact. Every response is timed for maximum effect. It's not just politics. It's marketing at the highest level. Trump sells strength and defiance. Mamdani sells change and hope. And somewhere in between, the American people are the customers being sold two competing versions of the future. The real question is, who's playing who? Are Trump and Mamdani really enemies? Or are they both using this battle to rise higher in their own way? Because let's face it, tension is currency. And in today's world, the one who controls the conversation controls the power. So while it might look like chaos from the outside, there's a strategy underneath every headline. Both men know what they're doing, and both are getting exactly what they need from the storm they've created. But the big mystery still remains. When the dust finally settles, whose vision of America will stand tall, and whose will crumble under the weight of their own ambition? Keep watching, because that answer is coming, and it's going to shake more than just the political stage. Every storm has an aftermath, and this one is no different. The clash between Trump and Mamdani didn't just dominate the headlines. It left a mark that's still rippling through the country. The question now is simple but powerful. What happens next? Because this isn't just about two men throwing verbal punches. This is about the future of American politics, and the fallout from this battle could reshape everything. How parties move, and how leaders rise or fall in the years to come. After the dust began to settle, something unexpected started happening. People began choosing sides not just out of loyalty, but out of identity. Trump supporters, fired up as ever, took the clash as proof that their movement is still alive and roaring. To them, Trump's defiance showed strength, courage, and the refusal to back down from what they believe is a corrupt establishment. His rallies got louder, his donations climbed, and his message, whether you love it or hate it, once again became the talk of the nation. On the other hand, Mamdani's camp turned the feud into fuel for change. His team saw opportunity in controversy, and they grabbed it with both hands. Young voters started to take notice. People who had never heard his name before were now tuning into his speeches, following his interviews, and quoting his fiery words online. Suddenly, Mamdani wasn't just a local figure. He was a national voice. And that's how political momentum begins. Not with silence, but with fire. But the real fallout isn't just in the followers or the votes. It's in the message this sends to the rest of the political world. Other leaders are watching closely, learning from every move. They see how emotion drives engagement, how conflict drives conversation, and how authenticity, real or staged, grabs attention. We're entering a new era of politics where the line between reality and performance is thinner than ever. And as the 2026 and 2028 elections creep closer, that line is only going to blur more. Will candidates lean into controversy like Trump, knowing that every storm brings spotlight? Or will they take Mamdani's route, using the noise to elevate new ideas and reach younger, more diverse audiences? Either way, this clash is already rewriting the rules of the game. But here's the twist: America itself is changing. People are more vocal, more skeptical, and more connected than ever before. They don't just want to be told what to think. They want to feel something. And that's exactly what both Trump and Mamdani have tapped into: emotion. One speaks to anger, pride, and nostalgia. The other speaks to hope, justice, and transformation. And that emotional divide, that's where the real storm lives. So what's next? More debates, more drama, more surprises, that's certain. But beneath all the noise, something deeper is happening. A new generation is watching, learning, and getting ready to step into the arena. And when they do, the echoes of Trump versus Mamdani will still be there, shaping the battlefield they walk onto. Because this wasn't just a political fight. It was a turning point. The kind that changes how people see power, how they demand accountability, and how they define leadership. So stay tuned, because the storm may calm for now, but the aftershocks of this political showdown are just beginning to shake the ground beneath America's future. In the end, the showdown between Trump and Mamdani is more than just a heated exchange between two politicians. It's a reflection of a divided America standing at a crossroads. On one side stands the force of tradition, power, and defiance. On the other, a wave of progress, reform, and youthful energy. This clash has exposed more than differences in policy. It's revealed the nation's struggle between holding on to the past and reaching for a new future. But here's what makes it truly powerful. Moments like this don't just define politicians. They define people. They push citizens to think, to question, and to choose what kind of country they want to live in. Whether you see Trump as the fighter who won't back down or Mamdani as the voice of a new generation, one thing's certain: this battle has changed the conversation. And as the political dust continues to swirl, one truth stands out above all. America's story isn't written by any one leader. It's written by the millions watching, voting, speaking up, and deciding which vision of the future they believe in. The storm may rage on, but within it lies the spark of transformation. And the next chapter of America's political journey has only just begun. And there you have it. The storm, the sparks, and the power struggle that's got the whole nation talking. Whether you're standing with Trump, backing Mamdani, or just watching from the sidelines trying to make sense of it all, one thing's for sure: this story is far from over. The battle lines have been drawn, and every move from here on out could shape America's next big chapter. So stay tuned, because what happens next might shock everyone. If you enjoyed this deep dive, make sure to hit that like button, drop your thoughts in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe, because this political storm is just getting started, and you won't want to miss what comes next.